Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. We recently joined as a member and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. Don't forget to add the 2-on-1 podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of your application. Now get ready for the rest of the episode.
Guys, we're back.
Back.
Yep.
Woo! What's up, guys? How are you?
Good.
Great.
That's it? Good, great.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Hopefully the fourth person gives us a bit more spunk. Mike, you're back. How are you, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm fired up. I'm happy to be here. Happy to have sports back.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
Yeah, it does. Did anyone else, when it was all of a sudden within a spark of 7 days, span of 7 days, like baseball, hockey, everything just comes back? Did anyone feel like it was kind of out of nowhere, or are you guys just counting down the seconds?
I've been waiting.
It was like momentum. It was like a lot to take in, I think, within a week.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of days ago, I was sitting on my balcony eating some pad thai, or actually was it sushi? Yeah, it was sushi, and watching the Raptors and the Jays on two different screens, and I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel real. But
It's a fantasy.
yeah,
Whenever we start feeling normal again, it's always a great feeling.
whenever.
Guys, I think we have to start with the biggest news in hockey this week. Dive on in with the Seattle Krakens, the 32nd NHL franchise. Their name, their logos, their jerseys have all been finally announced. Let's get first thoughts, guys. We'll start with the name itself. Dan, starting with you.
I love it.
Kraken.
I love it. We've been talking about it for so long. I was kind of disappointed they didn't use your picture, though, Adam, for the logo.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Very
That was a bit of a letdown. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I love the jerseys. I love the media that's going on around it. I love their Twitter already. There's like, oh, my gosh.
They're out. Their Twitter bio is really good. Like, now
Yeah.
with the name and that, we're going to find a way to select all your favorite players. Mike, what about you? We were being a bit positive here. I think you didn't like the name itself, didn't you?
I mean, I didn't love the name. I know it was gonna happen. Like, I was just expecting it. Like, everybody, like, for the last little while, it's just like Seattle Kraken, Seattle Kraken, Seattle Kraken. Interestingly enough, for the last little bit too, before leading up to it, people were like, "It's gonna be the Seattle Sockeyes," and I'm like, that just doesn't sound intimidating.
No.
Like, that's literally like calling them like the Montreal Canadiens. Just not intimidating.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming.
I mean, win a playoff round and come talk to me. But
But other than that, sorry, it's just I'm excited to watch the Seattle Kraken with the crack hits in the crack house. Let's go, Jeff Bezos, Climate Pledge Arena.
Mm-hmm. Alex, and then what about you? And talk a bit about the logo. The main one it's actually quite simple. It's an S that looks like a tentacle, and then there's a bit of red to look like the eye of the Kraken.
I bet you Alex hates it.
What? No, I don't hate
Alex
it.
hates it.
Probably. No, I found a picture. The S looks exactly like the S of a vodka company.
Superman logo.
Oh, I didn't think about the Superman logo.
It does look like the Superman logo.
I didn't think about that, but
It looks like the fancy S everyone drew in high school.
Oh,
Yeah,
with the lines.
logo.
Yeah.
yeah, but it looks. I don't have the tweet. Damn it! But it looks like the S of a vodka company. It seems like everyone's just finding pictures of things it looks like.
They're trying to find the sponsors. Okay.
I have it. I've just put it on the screen on the video portion. If you want to check that out, go on YouTube for it.
I don't mind.
Go ahead. There's also the anchor. That's pretty
yeah.
nasty. And then just the name itself in Seattle Kraken.
I think it was just from Adam's picture, but I was kind of surprised with the navy. I thought it was going to be like that bright green. You kept coloring everything in.
Yeah.
I think that was my expectation.
Well, I forgot who saw it. I thought I had the tweet up here. But apparently, oh no, this is from Jeff Merrick. Oakview Group CEO Tim Leiweke just said on Hockey Central at noon that there will be a third and fourth Seattle jersey at some point that honors the history of the Seattle Metropolitans.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to get that bright green jersey, but like the color scheme itself, I think like looking at their jerseys, their home ones, it reminds me almost of the Sherbrooke Phoenix and the Q, that kind of like color scheme, but there's a bit more of like that like tealish kind of color. I think it looks, honestly, this is one of my favorite jerseys in sports now. I think
brought back the teal.
I'm a fan of the jerseys for sure. I just think the name could be. Actually, you know what else do they have in Seattle? The name, and never mind.
Sasquatch, America's
the Seattle Washingtons.
Man, if they had gone with that, I don't know. Like,
which one? The Washington?
Yeah.
Seattle Washingtons? Yeah.
Seattle Northeasterns.
No. I saw someone tweet, and I can't remember his name, but he was like, move over Toronto Raptors. We found the new worst name in in history. I'm like, man, shut up. It's been like 25 years. Leave the Raptors alone. Like, there's teams whose names that end, like, they're about socks.
Yeah.
What the hell? Get out of here.
Brooklyn Nets.
Raptor's pretty cool. It's a raptor.
Yeah. He's probably 500 years old. That's why he's not used to it. He just likes the socks.
Yeah.
If they, by the way,
Or
if
Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, real original. So original.
The Minnesota Wild, everyone thinks it's a big cat when it's really a bear. You always say
if you don't know that's a bear, then like, what are you doing?
Well, first of all, I'd have to pay attention to Minnesota.
No, you just gotta look at the logo.
It doesn't look like a bear.
It doesn't look like a cat, though.
It looks like a big cat. Like, I could look at that and think like that's a mountain lion or something.
No,
I don't know.
I saw it as a bear immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought it was like wild. So like you got the bear, you got the trees, you got everything, you got the sky. So it's like that's the wild.
I'm seriously the only one who didn't get the logo. I'm ashamed now.
Yes.
I feel really ashamed.
That's okay.
Guys, I think before, it's very hard for me when you say bear, I want to start talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 because I've been grinding it out over the past few weeks. But we'll go to some non-hockey news, though, because there's some pretty big stuff going on. Iron Mike Tyson is coming back, lads. The boxing legend returned for an 8-round exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr.
You think so? You think he's broke?
I wonder why the hell would he be coming back and like putting himself into such great shape after he was like fat?
I know.
The last few years.
It's a weird one. Like, it seems like
when he was in The Hangover, he was not in good shape, but he got to punch Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, he still had the punch. Yeah.
It's weird because he's doing like a bunch of different things. I know he's starting some cannabis thing in like California or Nevada. It's like to think he's broke.
Yo, man, watching the videos of him training, just the stuff of what nightmares are made of.
Oh man,
is it Mike Tyson who also like does races pigeons or whatever?
What on earth?
What?
That's the first time I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Daniel, right? Maybe he you know how like some people are like they spend lots of money on like horses and that. Like something in Red Dead, like expensive thoroughbreds. Does he have to feel that craving to race?
You are not kidding, unfortunately.
I know I'm not.
I know he has tigers. I did not know about the pigeons. I know about the tiger.
He's a pigeon racer. Apparently.
No way. That's
Mike Tyson bites people's ears off.
Yeah.
Races pigeons.
Yeah. And
is probably broke. Is what I'm taking away from this episode.
Either way, you know what? I'm kind of excited to see Mike Tyson fight, but
people are the buys are gonna be like.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Do you know who's fighting just before Mike Tyson?
Nate Robinson.
Jake Paul and Nate Robinson.
Oh my god! I hope Jake Paul gets folded. I hate that guy.
I don't get why they're doing this to themselves.
Former NBA slam dunk champion Nate Robinson.
I don't know why they're doing this to themselves. First, I think it was his brother, like this YouTube fighting. Like, get over yourselves.
Logan and Jake, yeah. I'm Team KSI.
But I
I'm
don't get
not
why
Team
you do
Deji. I
this.
hate Deji, but I love KSI.
I don't get why they're doing this to themselves, man.
Alex, I don't get why you brought YouTube drama onto the show.
I don't know either.
I'm feeling like I'm back in high school watching Drama Alert now. Like, don't do this to me. But continuing on the whole note of the fact, getting away from hockey for a little bit. Guys, strike one, Pittsburgh out. Strike two, Baltimore. But instead of strike three, you're out. The Blue Jays got the rawest deal of them all, and they have to play in Buffalo. It's rough, guys. I really didn't think they were going to have a home for a bit there because it wasn't looking good.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a 60-game road team, but they got to play at home in some series, like be the home team.
It's so confusing. I don't understand how the MLB sits there and just lets this happen and say, you know what, we're going to start the season. You just don't have a home yet.
Yeah. Absolute buzzer
Get
beater
out of
with that.
here.
Like Buffalo had they always had Buffalo as an option. It's just they're major leaguers. They're a little too bougie to use a AAA clubhouse. No. Like that's legit. Like they definitely did not want to use a AAA clubhouse for a major league team.
They also didn't want to be in Buffalo. Let's just all be honest.
Yeah, I know. You didn't want to be in the armpit of America.
I think that's probably Mike's catchphrase on the show, is the armpit of America that is Buffalo.
Yeah, I say that a lot. Or I say New Jersey because I hate New Jersey.
Man, I can't stand about anyone from New Jersey because you can't have a conversation with them for more than 10 minutes before they point out how bad Jersey is. It's like flipping a record. I hate it so much. Same with like comedians from New Jersey. It's the same bit every goddamn time. Did you guys watch the Jays' first game against Tampa?
No.
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, well, Daniel, you're the big baseball guy of the four of us. How did you enjoy it? How did Ryu look in his first game?
It's okay. It lasted like 4.2 innings, 3 earned runs, so he didn't really get the quality start. But it's something that these guys kind of like been not really bumming around, but they didn't really play for a while, so it was pretty solid. It was a fun game. They almost lost the lead.
I saw Adam Wild's tweet about a Toronto team nearly blowing.
Of course they did.
Yeah, of course.
But hey, Toronto blowing leads. We'll talk about the Leafs a little later. Preview their exhibition game versus the Canadiens on the 28th. That'll be fun discussion. 3 Leafs fans and Habs fans. How will I defend
we're
myself?
counting Daniel as the Leafs fan.
Yeah.
Is that how we're working?
For today, we will. We can't talk about the Ducks. I'm not playing.
My birthday present is that the Leafs are going to deliver me a dub on the exhibition game.
Yeah.
Listeners, tweet
all
Mike
voting.
on the 28th. It's his birthday. And then make fun of him when they lose. The Leafs, I mean. Fingers crossed. I'm going to keep digging this hole, or what Mayweather.
Another Leafs news is that not long ago, I don't know if you guys got the tweets, but Eddie Shack passed away today.
Yeah, I saw it early this morning.
Rest in peace. Legend.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys want to just quickly say a word on Eddie Shack? Clearly one of the most beloved players. I forget, that's a good thing you brought it up there, Mike.
Yeah.
I think it broke right before we started going on. That's how Merrick, Dangle, and that were saying. So
it broke 2 hours ago. Yeah. No, Eddie Shack was a legend. Everybody that knew about who Eddie Shack was. Shack Attack. He was a 3-time All-Star, 4-time Cup champ back when we used to do those things. But he was just a beloved player, and he's just a legend. It's unfortunate. So rest in peace to a Leafs legend for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's always nice to actually talk about a real Leafs legend, by the way, and not the joke that is Leafs legend, stuff like Peter Holland and that. Because the Leafs really are
David Clarkson.
Yeah, David Clarkson. We really do forget that they have some spectacular legends. Johnny Bauer, obviously, last year. What are you guys laughing about?
We can't say this again. We can't say that. Alex, you're not allowed to say that on the show anymore.
Say it again. Say it again.
You
say it again.
Thomas Botanics, you can get out.
Maybe.
Right, we'll just keep going there. But Alex,
wait, another thing, Eddie Shack could rock a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No questions.
He looked like a killer with the cowboy hat on. So
modern day John Marston. Love to
Yeah, yeah. He was when he wore his cowboy hats, he looked sick. I loved it.
Alex, earlier while you were making your mechanics joke, we'll go back to hockey. You want to talk about the CHL a bit? Maybe
Oh
laugh.
yeah. So I got it yesterday that the CHL is going to ask the federal government for some money. Or they're gonna, the quote, it says, the Canadian Hockey League has hired lobbyists in Ottawa to discuss government funding amid concerns some franchises could be forced out of business.
Uh-oh.
And I just was curious what you guys thought about it, because I know the CFL did the same thing a couple of months ago, and I don't think they ended up getting the money anyways, right? They didn't get the money. I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
not sure.
what do you guys think about this? Like, in terms of, it's pretty much the exact same reasoning. Should the CHL get money?
Well, if you like, guys, allow me to take this first. Listen, I love the CHL. Who doesn't love the CHL? And if they need the support, everyone needs support right now. We all know that. But man, if it is to save those teams, of course I want them to get the help. You need that. They're already going to be. We don't know when fans are going to be in the arena, and that's you already know how big that is for the NHL. It's going to be the same for any sort of hockey league. I mean, even the NBA relies heavily on gate. We found out this year. So it is. I joked before, but really, it's such a. We already saw problems with the ECHL and them paying players their benefits and that. And now we're seeing it in the CHL, not, of course, different circumstance, but I really hope it works out, is really all I can say there.
I could see it work. I don't know if the government, I think if you look at how they handled the CFL, I'd find it hard. If they don't give the CFL money, I can't see them giving the CHL money. I just think they're going to end up with less teams. I think because Merrick was talking about 31 Thoughts a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about we could see a completely different CHL system. Like right now we have the OHL, the WHL, and the Q. When we come out of this pandemic, assuming that they're not starting up in October, we could see a completely different type of CHL. No, we lost Daniel.
I think the important thing to note here is that the CHL is not purely, but it is disclosed that it's an 85% gate-driven league. 85% of their revenue comes from ticket sales. And another thing, too, is that CHL teams aren't owned it's not a billionaires club like other sports franchises. So it's a lot more difficult to have control on this. For example, I think I read somewhere that the Kitchener Rangers have 4,500 community members that own them.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, you have travel. Are they there's no hub city obviously, so it's not like you're gonna and the border's closed.
Right.
If you have small markets, I think the least valuable franchise, don't quote me on this, I think is the Swift Current Broncos out in the West. But then you have it's different. You don't have that much parity in the small markets where you have teams like Val-d'Or or even something I don't know, Swift Current before. They're not anything something say like Ottawa or the Vancouver Giants. So it ain't easy.
Right.
Daniel, anything to say on the matter?
Yeah, I think when I was reading up on this, it was kind of surprising to me. Just because when I look at the prestige of the CHL and I guess the fan base in each of these cities that's there, that I didn't realize so many teams are struggling to break even every year. And then at top of that, add a lot of the things they're kind of being I guess sued for, a lot of the hazing incidents, and I guess that takes a hit to their reputation as well. I think one example they used in the article, I believe it's from I cannot remember, but they said that, like, I think the Edmonton Oil King are okay because they're owned by like the Edmonton Oilers, but other teams, like what Mike was saying, like the smaller ones, like Swift currently struggled every year financially to kind of like make ends meet.
Yeah.
We also have to. I'm sorry, the dog's crying. The biggest thing you have to remember is the CHL and the amount of players they crank out for the NHL. I know in the past few years we've seen like the first round. Sorry, in 2019 with so many great American players. We're seeing the Germans start to produce more players, but at the end of the day, it's all coming from the CHL. So it's a league we want to see stable, to continue to thrive, succeed. So best of luck to the CHL. If the government's going to help them or not, we'll see. But at the same time, they're spending a lot of money in other, some higher prioritized things right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Guys, though, one of the more interesting stories around the league this year, and then especially there's been more and more little tidbits, layers of drama. It started with the physical testing fiasco with the Coyotes, which Alex is already shaking his head. Then there was the drama around how they just seemed to have gotten worse and worse with Taylor Hall. Last episode, we talked about how John Chayka was apparently not even involved with the starting negotiations the Arizona Coyotes were having with Taylor Hall, their biggest free agent, who will be the biggest UFA on the market, period. And now there's teams...
I'd argue Alex Pietrangelo
yeah.
is bigger than Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Not Tyson Berry, guys?
No. That guy's
him too.
No.
Even though he's not up there. Come on.
Anyway, so Elliot Friedman has put out, this was yesterday, he put a bit more detail out there. This is from an article he has on sportsnet.ca. Go check it out, everyone. It appears the relationship between Chayka and the Coyotes fell apart over another opportunity for the team's current GM. According to multiple sources, at some point during the pandemic, the Coyotes were approached about Chayka's availability and granted permission for him to explore the situation. And one source told Freeman it was not a lateral move. He was not going to be the GM. What's even, really funny about this is apparently a few weeks ago, they were asked, is Chayka the GM? And apparently what Friedman described it as was, it was shocking to who he asked that the question would even be posed to him. They were that good. It screams like Jason Botterill in that situation in Buffalo, guys. So it's getting more and more complicated in Arizona, and it looks like John Chayka's on the way out. Starting with you, Daniel, how do you feel?
I think we mentioned it before that, he's a bit of a bold guy. He really relies on the stats a lot, and he's tried to make a team good in Arizona for so long, and a lot of swing and misses. I think it's been pretty quality pieces that we've talked about, but it's just some of the contracts he's given out or the trades he's done, they just haven't worked out. Nick Schmaltz has been okay, but he's been really injury prone. Or that Kessel trade that he has 32 points this year, 33.
I'll check for you.
Man, Clayton Keller.
Yeah.
Where the hell did he? But you know what? This is the thing where I'm gonna chime in as well. I mean, honestly, I think John Chayka has done a pretty good job. I'm on his boat, even though he's a nerd. He's a stats guy. But when you swing for the fences like that, you're trading for that player, and it's not your fault as a GM if they're not playing well. That's on Rick Tocchet. That's on their coach. You don't expect Taylor. You're trading for Taylor Hall. You're expecting to get Taylor Hall, not getting a shell of Taylor Hall. Same with Phil Kess. Okay, Phil Kess is a little arguable since he was an off-season acquisition. But, he's always been consistent. This is his one off year, right?
Mm-hmm. He had 38.
But don't you want the GM to make moves to fit the system that the coach plays? And I think that's what a lot of people's arguments with the Tyson Berry trade. I hate bringing it back to the Leafs, but I'm going to do it anyways. Right? That's what a lot of people they give Kyle Dubas a lot of crap because he traded for Tyson Berry, and everyone knew from day one. Everyone loved the trade from day one, but as soon as training camp started with Mike Babcock, everyone knew it was not going to work.
And it's the other way around, Alex. The GM needs his own coach, not the coach needs his GM.
Okay, but isn't Rick Tocchet? John Chayka hired Rick Tocchet.
John Chayka did hire Rick Tocchet, and he did put his faith in him. But at the same time, he did do that when he pulled Taylor Hall and when he pulled Bill Kessel. They needed scoring. All they had before those two guys showed up was Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, and arguably secondary Michael Grabner.
Right.
So they needed scoring. You did not expect Clayton Keller to have literally go cliff diving. You didn't. I mean, it's a little different with Phil Kessel for him to be so consistent, be so hyped up to be playing for the coach and Rick Tocchet that he's familiar with, that he's excited for, and then also be very inconsistent. But then for Taylor Hall, like, you're trading for Taylor Hall, and I understand that, you know, it's been two years since he won the MVP because he single-handedly carried the New Jersey failures to the playoffs. But, like, you know, you're trading for that player. You're not expecting him to regress so much.
Right.
That ultimately, if it's not working, it's on the player because, A, Taylor Hall is a documented waste man. That's just me. I'm saying it on the air. I don't know. I've heard many stories. I know people. But, like, on top of that, too, like, it's also on the coach to make the players consistent. John Chayka is not on the ice.
Right.
Rick Tocchet is.
I think the argument I made to the guys last episode, was that I think if you look at each individual player that John Chayka has brought in and the team that he has built individually, great players. I think you look at the decor, I think you really like Yarmolson. My God. Ekman Larson, Chikrin, and who's the guy I'm missing?
Goligoski?
Yeah, Goligoski. I think that's a perfectly fine top four. And you look at the guys he's brought in for the forward. You know, we talked about Phil Kessel. Yes, he's a little bit older. Taylor Hall, like, all individually, they're really good players, but they haven't worked as a team. So then the next move is, okay, who's responsible? And I think the players are responsible. I don't know if Rick Tocchet's then the right coach, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, we are going the fact that, like, the way the NHL is now, it's not, like, especially when it comes to Arizona, they needed offense.
Right.
They didn't get that even so, like, from these players that they brought in. And if you're talking about, like, the system that you're going here, that's Rick Tocchet is known for being a more offensive first kind of guy, even though he has a very big emphasis, obviously, on being two ways as a forward. But at the same time, too, with a team that needs scoring, you're not going to try and bring in, like, a power forward, especially when there's not that many on the market. Like, if Taylor Hall is the best scorer on the market, I don't know who the best power forward would be on the market. It's only going to swing and try and get a Mikko Rantanen type guy. Like, they already have, like, bodies in guys like Carl Soderberg, and so I think they needed scoring. So I understand why and I like John Chayka addressed that by going out and getting players that are supposed to score.
Like, Phil's the guy who is just, you don't need to have Phil in a system. Phil just goes off the wing snipe. Yeah. Phil's the easy goal guy, right?
So then I guess my question is, and maybe you've already answered it, but then who are we blaming? Like, what was the next step for ownership? Was it to get rid of Chayka, or was it for them to say, hey, get rid of Tocchet?
I don't know, honestly. I'm kind of confused as to what the Merwellos are doing. I mean, I think Chayka's done a pretty good job, especially to the fact that, like, obviously it took some time. There were some look, last year they would have been in the playoffs if they didn't have that many injuries. I'm telling you. Yeah. And, like, that's not Chayka's fault, and that's not Tocchet's fault either. Injuries happen, but they would have been, like, they were such a good team and they're so close to making it. So, like, you know what? I would give them the benefit of the doubt for that. This year, a little different, but the Pacific Division was just a mess, right? So I think, and like I said, he swung for the fences with Phil Kessel and Taylor Hall to address the scoring needs. And I mean, ironically enough, the series they're playing with is with another team like this. They're a huge underperforming team, just like I think the king of underperforming teams is the Nashville Predators this year, coincidentally with the player that I think is always on, like the king of underperforming teams in Matt Duchene. Nice guy though, but like I don't know. Like I just think I don't really know if management or ownership knows what they're doing in terms of the fact like Talkett obviously had his problems, I guess, getting the players to buy into the system, make it work. The players, they were having problems getting it together, making it work, figuring out the system. And Chayka was just trying to address that by getting the best players possible. So I don't really know.
Yeah, because watching them play, it really seems like they heavily rely on Darcy Kemper, and
Yeah,
I guess at that point Antti Ranta as well. But yes, Antti Ranta. I think if you look at his numbers, sure he did put up some good numbers, but when Darcy Kemper wasn't in the net, that team crumbled.
Yeah. I think if they didn't have Kemper this year, it would have been a much different scenario.
We saw a lot of movement like the last 2 years with this roster. Do you guys think that like what you said, giving John Chayka the benefit of the doubt, like you think he needs, I don't know, like another year to be like I could make this click? Because like we look at like the guys you described, but also like Christian Fischer's coming up, Barrett Hayden, and then there's also Christian Dvorak. That arguably based on the money they gave him, he should be entering his prime.
Right, and Barrett Hayden. Don't forget Barrett Hayden, Daniel.
Yeah.
The only thing is
Bear's gonna make it this year. Bear's not gonna be as scratched.
The issue here, guys, is first of all, last year something's changed with Talkett, because last season people were talking about the guy getting the Jack Adams and what he was able to get out of Arizona. When it comes to the one more year thing, there was apparently talk, and this is also in the Friedman piece, that they were going to do a transition period about trying to it was a thing throughout the year, and it fell through. It didn't work out. So the guy already has a foot out the door, and Friedman said he wouldn't there was no comment from Chayka. He's not saying anything.
Yeah.
The Yotes themselves now are saying no comment in regards to the guy.
He's gone.
And man, I don't look at Arizona and I their scoring problems, how everyone is always hurt. That's not this year. That's not last year. That feels like it's always been Arizona, except for Shane Doan. It just feels like there's always been something. It's a cliche, but there's always been something in the water in Arizona where they've just never been able to take that step. They had the one magical run to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
That was on the back of Mike Smith. I can tell you anything about a team riding goalie to a conference finals.
So I was just thinking of the pipeline as well. They've always kind of had shaky picks, I find. They've been a bit better lately, but, I don't know. I think of Brendan Perlini or Dylan Strome. I know they were traded, but it's just these kind of things were it's just something about the team. Even from, years ago, they just haven't been able to kind of find that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane Doan's been really that only consistent guy I kind of couldn't remember. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I find he's an exception.
The thing I think, Stan, that stood out to me the most when I first heard all this Chayka stuff is I think the owners just wanted to have their guy in there. That's what it seems.
The owners are going to be more quieter versions of Eugene. I live in Ottawa and everyone just hates Eugene out here. It's so funny.
I hope that's not the case.
No,
because I think they're from talking, listening to what people are saying, it seems like they're just they are just struggling in that arena. That team is just struggling to bring in fans.
It's still you say what you want. Nashville worked, yeah. Still not making money, but
it wasn't one of Gary's best experiments. You're right.
No, at what point do you finally, and maybe this is a discussion for another day, but you start questioning when do you pull the plug?
When do you move to Quebec City is what Adam is saying.
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to Quebec.
You said it, not me, is all I'll say.
if they're going anywhere, the next team is probably Houston.
But the Atlanta, not bringing back the Atlanta Thrashers.
No.
No, okay.
Just some breaking news from Joe Smith of The Athletic covers Tampa Bay.
Victor Hedman, I got it too.
And Steven
just scared.
Stamkos will also not play in the exhibition game. And then Victor Hedman will not be on the flight to Toronto for personal reasons.
Wow.
Yes.
For a couple
Hedman's
days.
request will go to Toronto Friday and play in the 3-round robin. So he's going to play, but I guess something's going on with Victor Hedman.
boring.
Yeah, Stammer really questions about him playing, period.
I just want to touch on something really quick here.
Yeah.
I realize I haven't told this story yet, but Adam was trying to get me on the show. He was texting me, and oh boy, was I just memeing Adam? Was I just trolling him? He was getting so bent, you could tell. I'm like, okay, but when you introduce me on the show, I want you to introduce me with like a fancy title, like His Glory or His Eminence.
The thing I said back to Mike cannot be repeated on this podcast. Is all I'll say.
That's great.
He was so bent. He's like, he literally stuttered when he texted. He's like, I'm sorry. And then he proceeded to keep sending me more messages. He's like, I'm not calling you His Eminence. And I'm like, all right. And then yesterday, I'm like, if you could do me a favor, like I know in the Google Doc you guys have like that whole thing written out for what you send to guests. Yeah. And I was like, if you could just take that message and send it to my secretary for scheduling purposes, so she could get my schedule for today ready, so I know what I'm doing. And he's just like he's like punching the air in his head. It's like, I hate this guy. I don't want him on anymore.
I think I messaged you on Twitter, and I was just like, "You coming on? If not, whatever." I'm just so
yeah. You're just like, yeah. So see if you want to come on the show tomorrow. Whatever if you can't. Bye.
Yeah, I think that was exactly it.
I'm like, oh wow, that's great. Thanks. He's just like, yeah, good talk.
Not having it.
It's my new catchphrase. Don't talk. I was fed up. I won't lie, but we'll talk about someone else who's a bit fed up. Justin Bourne. I love Justin Bourne. One of my favorite guys in hockey media. This is a few tweets he put out. The NBA.
His Eminence Justin Bourne. His Eminence Justin Bourne.
His Eminence, His Glory. The beautiful man he is. Justin.
His worship.
He'll give the Habs the benefit of the doubt in hockey, essentially, and that's why I like him. So this is his first of 3 tweets. The NBA has independent media inside their bubble, chronicling the most unique time in the history of their league. Conversely, NHL have chosen to deny access to independent media, just allowing only 3 NHL.com and team-approved social media people. So at such a historic time with unique stories and public health concerns abounding, I'm not reading this right. Fans will only get league-approved information. I wouldn't be going in anyway, so this isn't a work concern for me, but I think that's garbage that the league seems to be prioritizing sanitizing its message to protect its image rather than allowing fans to hear more in-depth stories about what's really going on. Because, boy, there's a lot going on from Justin Bourne.
NHL.com writers are tip-top, right, guys?
AKA,
like straight lined.
The ones who said Mark Stone was like the 12th best winger in the league. Now,
I absolutely hate. I don't get anything from NHL.com. I literally, man, I'm barely even know like I know a great guy, the scorer, and he's like their national hockey writer. And he's a great guy, and he has phenomenal pieces. But everything I read is on the Athletic, like everything.
Yeah.
So to not have guys like from SportsCenter or the Athletic there, like, come on, seriously.
I think it's a really weird image for the NHL to do that, especially when they get called out for it too. Like I have this feeling like they weren't expecting someone to notice. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, yeah, I want Joe Schmo from hottestleaftakes.com in the bubble. I want someone from like TSN, Sportsnet, The Athletic, I don't know, CBC. Like I want like legitimate like media people in there, and I'm not saying we need to have 100. Like if you go to a Leafs game, literally there's like an entire section at the top that's just all media members. Like obviously that's not going to be the case, right? It's going to be limited amount of people. I don't see why you can't be in there.
What's also a red flag is I think it was Sean Shapiro, I think is his name, had he put out a little article or link to NHL.com, and it's actually it's like guidelines that NHL.com writers have to follow.
Yeah.
Like unless they get approval, they can't put the word concussion into an article.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that.
And all these other little tidbits. So
apparently,
well, I mean, right now, anytime you can't play, it's just unfit to play.
Right.
Whether it's injury or corona.
the other thing
I think that's a bit different, though. But what I mean is like,
yeah,
and it's to Justin Bourne's point is instead of having these media members there, and he's not going like he said, but like can you not have Chris Johnson in there? Like Michael Russo, probably one of the best riders out there we've seen over the past. You can't get him in there, and it really just like when that info came out about like the guidelines they have to follow, it just sort of discredits the whole thing.
Yeah, it puts it's a really bad image for the NHL to have something like that. Just it looks really bad. I don't know
it
how
does not
else
look
to
good.
put it.
It's another thing too. It's like that whole uniformity thing, like the league has, where it just kind of like, we're just gonna have publications like on our side kind of thing. It's just like not moving away from anything else. I find it's so streamlined now that I don't know.
It's scary.
It's also weird. We're gonna say on the media though, how NBC, and we all know why NBC. It's because of the U.S. TV deal coming up, and NBC is getting all the kind of benefits of the bubble broadcasting wise. And maybe there is the, I'm not born in Canada, but there is the raised Canadian part of me that's like, man, I want my Sportsnet boys to get the scoop. Off the top of my head, I know we were trying to figure it out a little earlier, guys, but who is, for the Eastern teams, not broadcast, do we know who is doing play-by-play? Whether it is Sportsnet or...
So I think my understanding of how it's working, and I could be wrong, but so NBC's doing the broadcast stuff, like the camera work and all that stuff. When you're watching a Canadian game in Toronto and it's coming out of Toronto, it's Houston and Simpson, I think, or unless someone else does it. It's Sportsnet. And then in Edmonton, if it's a Canadian game and it's on Sportsnet, I'd imagine, I guess it's still NBC, but it's the Sportsnet guys who are doing the commentating. So
okay,
the Sportsnet guys, if it's a Canadian game, they are doing the commentating. Everything else is NBC.
Oh, I'm looking at a CBC article that says the NHL defending its decision to have an American television network provide the world feed instead of Toronto, which is a bit alarming. Like, again, like I said, we understand why U.S. TV deal
Sucks.
It sucks, but like, listen, if the U.S. TV deal wasn't important before, with the pandemic and the loss of revenue, it's even more important.
So, sorry, I just read Steve Simmons' article. I know how much we love Steve Simmons on this podcast.
I hate that
guy. But it says, so Sportsnet will produce the world feed for games played in the Western hub city of Edmonton. But the Stanley Cup final slated for the Alberta city will have both Canadian and American feeds for the individual rights holders. So NBC gets the Toronto games, Sportsnet gets the Edmonton games. But this is interesting. Sources say NBC was not happy with the NHL having two Canadian hub cities for its return to play. Apparently, NBC wanted an American hub city, but clearly the NHL acted in the best and safest interest of the league. However,
imagine having games in the U.S.
Yeah. However, in doing so, it also kowtowed to the rights holder, NBC, and somehow pulled a fast one of sorts on the Canadian government. because I believe NBC had to fly 50 people over.
This is messy stuff. It's
Yeah.
messy stuff.
Very intricate.
I mean, first of all, how can you be so petty about this when Florida is still getting hammered?
Sorry, who's being petty?
NBC about the Hub City
sorry.
thing.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Like, all it is like, it doesn't matter where they would play. You're still in an empty arena.
Right.
It does not matter. Like, it's going to be neutral sort of sites anyway. Yeah, you're going to have a goal song for the other team in that, but it's going to be these crappy videos with fan hype. No one's going to pay attention to that. These fake
Did you make yours
cheers.
yet, guys?
Sorry?
Did you make yours yet, guys?
No.
No? Your videos? Okay.
Do you see this, Mike?
No.
The how like teams are asking fans to create like videos of them cheering and
Oh
celebrating.
yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
I didn't get one from the Leafs. I'm kind of disappointed.
I have a buddy who got one from the Rangers.
Yeah? I
Oh.
saw the Rangers one. That's skippy.
Yeah.
Did you? Sorry, I don't know if you guys seen how the NBA is doing it, right on the sidelines, and the fans are just popping up
Yeah.
on the screens. So there's screens on the sides. The way they built the court, there's like these screens on the side, and fans are just everywhere on the screens. And it must be the most distracting things for the players ever, because it's just bright screens. And I'm like, why? I don't want to see this. I'd rather see an empty stadium.
Did you see what the NFL and the NFL's thinking of doing and the MLB are doing? They're just doing crowd noise. They're just doing crowd noise, but for the viewers, though.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't want to
they
hear crowd noise.
And then they simulate like the crowd, like people in the crowds just for the viewers.
I don't want to hear the crowd.
No stuffed animals like
prompting.
the Korean baseball league, I guess.
Did you see they're doing a players' lounge so that when there's games going on, they can watch?
I did see that. Yeah.
Would it not be? And I'm stealing this idea from someone. It's for someone from Sportsnet. It might be from Good Show, but imagine the feed from that room. Would you not listen to that feed? Like, I'd listen to that feed over the regular broadcast feed for most games.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like Brad Marchand. I think like Merrick was saying that like, wouldn't you love to see Brad Marchand's reaction to a Leafs game?
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. It's distracting me, so I need to mention it. That I'm pretty sure is a Team North America jacket you're wearing, Mike, and that's a nice jacket.
Thank you.
Like
I got it when I went to Sweden versus Team North America. The overtime McKinnon goal. I was behind the net for that. It was so insane.
Does your jaw just kind of go when he pulls that move on Lundqvist? Or the many moves?
Well, first off, you had which Sedin's sister went for the B-way and then got stopped by Murray, I think. And then they bring it back up, give it to McKinnon, and Daddy McKinnon just pulls that move. I remember screaming. I was like, "Oh my god!" But it was like, wow.
Well,
and then I remember
transition, Mike.
I have this. You guys know I have the Leafs one of this, right? I have a Leafs one from the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
My dad got me, and I wore that to work on Wednesday. I honestly think everyone hates me at my job.
Oh yeah, because they're all Sens fans.
Yeah, and then like I work with a bunch of people that work with me also work at TSN 1200 next to us, or I see a bunch of the TSN guys there because it's Bell, right? So like the TSN guys work there too, and they're all just staring at me, and I'm just like, come on, like. I want to tell you another story. Basically, people can just identify me from being from Toronto, and it's just so annoying. Yesterday, I wore an OVO T-shirt just because I wanted to wear it.
Yeah. So
I wore it to work, and then after work, I went to go grab lunch. So I'm walking to go get some smokes poutineery because I wanted smokes. And then we're next to Gatineau, right? and I'm walking, and I'm just getting stared at by everybody with the owl on my chest, and then because like it's like right on my chest, and then like I'm walking by this group of French kids, and they're just like, oh oui, le owl, tu vois, oui, le OVO, and they're just like they're saying in French that basically like that I'm definitely like a Toronto kid that thinks I'm like a big shot around here, and I just turn around, I'm like, wait, wrong. No, I turn around to him because he doesn't think I can hear him. I'm like, wait, parce que je suis, I am. You're right, I am. And he just gives me the biggest stare, and I'm like, yeah, you thought. That's right. Eat it. Then I went to go get my spokes poutineery.
All right, Mike. Well,
I hate it here.
You were... Man, the rest of the country really does hate Toronto.
Everyone in the it's now. No, I gotta wear my. I have a the Peace Collective brand.
Yeah. I
have a Home is Toronto sweater, and I have a Toronto versus everybody T-shirt. Now I know what I gotta wear.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm wearing my Leafs jersey to work on Tuesday. I work from 11 to 7.
There we go.
And then I have the game's at 8, so I'm gonna go. My roommate and I were gonna go watch it across the street, basically across the street from where I work. You know, Real Sports Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
The Ottawa equivalent is called the Sens House. Oh. So we're gonna sit out there and watch it with my Leafs jersey on. I took a picture of Parliament Hill wearing my Leafs jersey. I'll post it on my birthday and be like, "Ha." You know, basically, I'm warming up to the city of Ottawa, which is fine.
You know, it could be worse. You could be living in Edmonton. You could be putting up with those bunch of goofballs.
I have a McDavid like sweater thing, not the jersey, like the jersey sweater.
Yeah,
that's at home. I didn't bring it.
Those are nice. Like jersey sweaters are nasty.
I'll bring it out here for shinny season back when we finally get out on the canal. But for now, it's just my jersey's here. It's behind me.
Lads, we talked a bit about Edmonton. They've got an MVP finalist. You were talking about Nathan McKinnon, my dear sweet boy. He's a Hart finalist as well.
Oh my God, you're such a nerd.
I am. I have a Clone Wars sweater on right now. Right? Like, but anyway.
I was gonna compliment that. I really like that sweater.
Yeah, it's a 501st one. I have a black one that just has like the Clone Troopers with the Ahsoka style helmet on. And I've got like a gray like Ahsoka style.
Yeah, I understand that reference.
Man, how fired up are you for Halo Infinite?
Man,
I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
I have confidence in that series again.
I'm so fired up after watching that.
Master Chief Collection was on Game Pass, so I downloaded it.
I got it too on Game Pass.
Yeah. We should all play together.
I got it too on Game Pass. Honestly, I'll meet you online. We'll play.
Man, I didn't know Reach and ODST were part of it, and then I re-downloaded it, and I saw.
And it's there, I know.
I was like, okay, sweet, I'll gladly play that. Well, Daniel, get a damn Xbox.
I actually could play. I have a gaming PC, and I could just get on Windows.
Yeah,
and play
it is on
the
guys. Yeah.
We gotta rip some Halo 3, lads.
All right, we'll play.
Come on.
I'm actually kind of down, dude. I'll tell you this. It's got all the good games. All I've been doing as well is just playing Halo 2 Anniversary because I absolutely love that game. Mm-hmm. But then and I'm happy because it's got all the games I want. It doesn't have Guardians because I hated Guardians. It was a piece of crap.
We don't talk about
and
that.
And then I don't play Halo 4 because Halo 4 it sucked too. But this one looks good. This has got to be a redeemer. Mm-hmm. If this doesnman redeem it, then I'm getting a PS5.
Then I think that's the nail. Xbox normally doesn't have any games. It's a shame. Man, if we're talking about video games, guys. I've never played the first Red Dead Redemption, but I think I'm going to go back and do it because I'm loving Red Dead 2 so much.
Red Dead 1 had a really good story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm a big John Marston fan from 2, so I'm assuming I'll really like 1. God damn it. It's so good. Arthur Morgan's a freaking man. But seriously, we will talk. We got some few more things to talk about. We'll talk Leafs and Habs in the moment here. But first, last episode, Mike, we talked about our choices for the Hart Trophy, which, of course, we know every year is a big topic in the NHL. And sometimes it's really stupid to talk about. But there is no bigger fan of Nathan McKinnon than myself. There's no bigger fan of Artemi Panarin than yourself. So let's talk here. First of all, Draisaitl can get out of here. I don't care. So let's do this. Panarin, why should he win the Hart in your eyes?
A couple reasons. First off, and no disrespect to Nathan McKinnon at all. Honestly, he will have like at least two or three MVPs, Hart Trophy and Ted Lindsay Trophy by the time he's done his career. I predict, unless McDavid just ruins him. But I think if you look at the fact that McKinnon was steady on with one of the best lines in hockey in Rantanen and Landeskog, and granted, I do understand that they were injured for quite a number of games, but like McKinnon's otherworldly. He plays with players such as Rantanen and Landeskog on a line. On the power play, he's playing with guys like Cale Makar, Nassim Kadri. Like overall, all around, Colorado, like even hell, like underrated. I love Sam Girard.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, they got an underrated like decor, and overall, like they got a better team than the Rangers. So I think the benefit of, yes, he's otherworldly. He's got this insane stride and speed, great shot. Like yes, he has that going for him, but he had a better support system, I believe. And the reason why is because Panarin was steady on the second line the entire year for the most part, while the first line was Chris Kreider, Pavel Buchnevich, and Mika Zibanejad on the Rangers, while Artemi Panarin, for the most part, was steady shifts along with Ryan Strome and Jesper Fast. Those are not Pavel Buchnevich or Chris Kreider. Those are third-liners in most other teams. And he still carried that line. I think the plus-minus for the team this year was 12, and his plus-minus was 36. And I know plus-minus isn't a big thing anymore, but that just shows you when he wasn't on the ice and just what he could do. Panarin, Hartemi, as I call him, Hartemi, he drove that line and drove his scoring all on his own practically. Because Zibanejad was injured for quite a big portion of the year until he came back, scored 5 goals. How are ya? But like, he wasn't playing with those guys unless it was a Rangers power play. So I think that's my argument there for sure. Why I think if he puts up that many points, he has the nicest hair in the game too. Like, come on.
Erik Karlsson has something to say about that.
No, but Panarin's got like the curls. It's just.
We did read it last episode, but I'll read it for you here. This is a tweet from Dmitry Filipovich. Again, one of the best hockey follows. He said, Artemi Panarin was decent this year. Led league in 5v5 scoring. That's over Draisaitl, by Rip Daniel, goddammit. Ryan Strome and Jesper Fast, common line mates. And this is talking about the scoring there, Mike. On ice at 5v5, the Rangers were up 75-38 when he played. When he was off the ice, 105-75. And after Christmas break, this is the stat that really got me. 50 points in 33 games played. That is incredible. God, I wish Daniel was here. I miss him already.
He would say that Andrew Cogliano deserves.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he's on Dallas now. You'd say Adam Henry. Sean Couturier.
We may have been talking about you and the Ducks.
Yeah, as a Ducks fan, your vote for Hart trophies. Who? Ryan Getzlaf?
John Gibson. Also, he won the Carrying the Load award for this show, so he's already have a seasoned record.
That was not an Our Show award. That was your personal award, by the way. I'd like to point out. Got you. Well, okay, Alex, Daniel, let's get you guys in here because we very much had because Alex, I think you took the devil's advocate route of very much defending Draisaitl last week. So I wonder if you two want to try and chime in here and then maybe bring up why you think we should consider a Draisaitl or
I will say I certainly do consider Draisaitl, but
it's hard for me to consider Draisaitl.
I think it's hard for me to consider him when he's still the second best player on his team.
He's not the MVP of his own team.
Exactly.
Mm.
That's Connor McDaddy.
Yeah. And I think what I was telling Adam last week, and I guess I'll say it again, is the argument I think people are making is that McDavid being injured for, I think, how long was it? 7 to 10 games, something like that.
7 games.
7 games, and him putting up 14 points, and them needing the points. It made it seem like he was the MVP of that team, but you're not the best player on your team. But then I think, and I was going devil advocates, and like, man, like then the argument, it's kind of the similar. I think Adam was saying, what's the team without Leon Draisaitl? It's Connor McDavid. But then you say, what's the team without Connor McDavid? It's Leon Draisaitl. So it's like, how do you give it? And I think that was the argument a while ago when you look at Malkin and Crosby. What's the team without Malkin? You still got Crosby. What's the team without Crosby? You still got Malkin. So it's like, how the hell do you give MVPs to those guys, knowing that Connor McDavid is truly the MVP of his team and this league?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to give it to Draisaitl 100%. But
yeah,
I want you to try to make an argument, because I still haven't heard a good one, of why Jack Eichel should be considered for the Hart.
Wow.
Okay. Mike, what do you think about this? Because I was very much on the page that I think Jack should be up there.
If I were to put him in the Hart Trophy finalists, I'd put him in the voting, I'd probably put him in 5th.
What? But he deserves it. I think he very much deserves it.
If the Pigulas finally retire and sell the team so that they can have a good team someday and they make the playoffs, then I understand. Because you do know that the professional hockey writers, the people that vote on this, they're always looking at, that's why McDavid didn't win it this last year? Yeah. Because they didn't make the playoffs. Eichel is otherworldly. The guy is gross on top of just having severe just depression. I remember the tweet about the last game. Let me just try and simulate it. After the last game, obviously they didn't know it was the last game, but they lost, and he's just sitting there. Everybody else has taken off their gear, and he's just sitting there
man, if only
I'm a head out, basically.
See, the thing that I was, for why Eichel really isn't on my list, is because if I'm using the argument I was using before, and okay, what's the team without Connor McDavid? What's the team? The team with Jack Eichel is already poo. It's just a load of poo.
Yeah.
What's the team without Jack Eichel? It's an even bigger load of poo.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah.
Right?
But my thing is, this is a guy who, on said pile of poop, was 10 points above point per game and was miles ahead of Reinhardt. And I am not taking, and I'm not saying this is where you're going on, but I cannot stand how the Riders Association is no playoffs, don't care.
It was the diamond in the pool.
I'm not making that point at all.
Yeah.
I think we're arguing over who's the best players in the NHL. Jack Eichel is a phenomenal player. In any other draft, he would have gone first overall. Any other draft.
Would he have gone over Austin?
No, okay. Exceptions. You get what I'm saying?
Thank you.
First of all, let's remember, Austin was not 50 goal guy. Everyone said he was going to be Kopitar. Hold on.
I understand. But just wait. He's a great player. I don't know, because if they're using the arguments I've been using, he doesn't fit there for me. When I look at let me throw in another example. I look at Connor Hellebuck, and I'm really high on Connor Hellebuck. That guy literally drove this team.
How many holes in their defense?
Oh my God, so too many. If Connor Hellebuck, what is the Winnipeg Jets without Connor Hellebuck? I don't know.
A 7-5 loss.
It's I don't know. I think he's a very good player. I just don't think he's
Then, Mike, can I get your take on the Connor Hellebuyck? Because the three of us were very much like, this guy should be a finalist. And you know me and goalies. They don't get enough recognition in my book.
I think that's a very valid one, for sure, especially because if we're considering that we're using finalists from the play-in round, not even from the actual, like, obviously in regular years it'd be like playoff team players. This is play-in team players. So, like, you have you have Panarin and Draisaitl. I would arguably, yes, I would get rid of Draisaitl and I'd put Hellebuyck there because Hellebuyck single-handedly dragged the Winnipeg Jets to the play-in round. Like, look at the holes on defense. Neil Pionk is their best D-man.
No, Josh
Ben
Morris.
Chiro, Josh Morris.
Not
Yeah,
Dylan
George May is
DeMello
their-
guys?
Yeah, Josh Morris. But, like, when your top two is Dylan DeMello and Josh Morrissey, and then, like, it's like Neil Pionk and God knows who else.
Sammy
They don't-
Niku.
Sammy Niku, even though that guy has phenomenal hair. But, like, you miss – like, you're missing what? You're missing Big Buff, Tyler Myers, Jacob Trouba. And, yes, Jacob Trouba didn't pan out exactly as he should have. Like, in New York, it was pretty embarrassing. Neil Pionk did better than him. But, like, you know what I mean. They, like, without that, like, they had a much better decor. Holy crap. Trouba, like almost ripped off Austin's shoulder. Like, the guy could at least use physical. That's, like, the brand of hockey that Winnipeg plays with big bodies. Yeah. But this year they were a significantly weaker team. Mm-hmm. They had to rely on Patty Laine hopefully waking up, Scheifele and Wheeler doing the thing they're always doing, Connor doing the thing he's always doing, and then hopefully Hellebuyck can make some key saves. And meanwhile, he just astounded everybody with what he pulled off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not surprised, honestly. Even though like I was vying for him the entire time. Like, everybody, ever since he made it to the league, man, he's looked great. But this year he really took that next step, especially like when he realized, dude, my team sucks that much more in front of me.
Yeah. If Hellebuyck doesn't win the Vezina, it's a tragedy.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a legitimate tragedy.
Like, for Ben Bishop and Tuukka Rask to be there, I just feel like it's just so overplayed, man. They're always there. I think. Yeah.
I think the issue with me is why I didn't pick Tuukka Rask is the games played.
Not the trauma.
Because they have Halak. Halak is a good backup. Like, they had an actual good goalie tandem to go back to back and make it work. Like, there's no disrespect to Connor Hellebuyck. He was doing it on his own. Who's his backup? Eric Comrie? Or am I fried?
It's Laurent Brossoit.
Laurent Brossoit. That's it. Laurent Brossoit.
Brossoit.
But, like, dude, that's not a pair, like a close tandem. Halak and Rask, like, they fed off each other. Like, they were good.
Well, even Bishop and Hudobin.
Exactly.
Right?
It was a little different when you got, like, Vasilevsky, like, was it Louis Domingue?
No.
Isn't it McElhaney?
It was McElhaney.
It's Curtis McElhaney. What am I saying? I completely forgot.
Come on.
Fuck. Oh, yeah, our guy. Man, I miss McElhaney. When we got rid of McElhaney to keep Sparks, I was so upset. I think I've said that here before. I was so upset.
Oh, yeah. We've had many discussions about that.
But, yeah, no. Vasilevsky deserves the best.
Vasilevsky or Hellebuyck?
Yeah. Sorry, it's Hellebuyck. I'm not on my game. Hellebuyck deserves the Vezina, and he deserves, I think, a berth in the final over Leon Draisaitl. You're right.
You know what? One day I foresee a conversation about the Vezina because the goalie tandem is starting to become more and more of a thing. But that is a discussion for a few years down the line in the future episode.
I do want to ask you guys because I wasn't on for the episode that you guys did it. I want to know your picks for the rest of the awards here.
For the awards?
Yeah.
God.
You guys don't have to get too into the episode. You guys don't.
Yeah, I'll go
forever.
quick.
But I do want to know, like, who you guys got and, like, say couple little things.
I guess I'll just go quickly. Norris, I had John Carlson. I think The offensive. Listen, I would have given it to Roman Yossi, but I think looking at how Norris has been handed out in the past.
So you're gonna be a sheep?
Yeah,
Alex.
Yeah.
Okay. At least
You'll
you're
see
gonna
half the awards are going to be like that.
No, I do understand that, but I still want to make it. I'm still with you. Yeah.
If I had to give the award by definition, I would give it to Roman Yossi. Like, yes, he had the offensive production, but I think he was literally half his team this year.
Exactly. That's why I give it to him.
Lady Bing, I don't know what the award's for, but just because he's in there, I'll give it to Austin Matthews. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Yeah, no one knows. We had a discussion. We don't know what the definition of the award means. If it's on and off the ice or just on the ice.
If it's off the ice.
Off the ice, then there's two guys on that list who might not want to be on that list. But I'll just go with Austin. The Selke. Oh, who did I give the Selke to?
We all said Pat.
Oh yeah, Patrice. No. Daniel said Sean Couturier. I said Patrice. Am I missing an award?
Vezina. We already said.
Vezina, Hellebuck.
I'm gonna skip the Masterton. I'm gonna skip that because that's
we
top
did.
one.
You forgot GM and coach. Jim Gregory and Jack Adams.
I don't remember who I gave my GM award to, but my guy, Coach of the Year, Alain Vigneault.
He has not shut up about Vigneault since
day one.
Okay, yeah, but you also missed Ted Lindsay and you missed Calder.
Oh, Calder. Who did I get? I think I ended up giving it to Hughes.
Yeah.
And Ted Lindsay, Connor McDavid.
No, it's the same. It's the same finalist as the Hart. Same finalist as the
Hart. Oh, McKinnon. Sorry, McKinnon. Yeah, okay. I'm confused.
And then what about you, Daniel and Adam?
Go ahead, Dan.
All right, I'll just go quick. Norris, I give to Victor Hedman, all-around guy. Love his game. Does it all, I think. Vezina, Connor Hellebuck. I think we had a consensus on the Hart and Ted Lindsay was Nathan McKinnon. I think all three of us last episode. What else did I? Norris. No, I said Norris. Calder. Selke. Yeah, Sean Couturier. I kind of argued that he has lesser guys around him and still put up amazing numbers. Both.
If he doesn't get it this year, he's gonna get it at least a couple times in his career.
For sure, yeah.
Adam, what is in your hands? You've been playing with it the entire time.
It's like a selfie stick. Oh.
That's for the flag.
Oh my gosh. Keep going, Daniel.
Yeah. Skipping the Masterton and I guess Lady Bing. I guess like we argued about this last episode where you're like, how do you kind of judge this? So I'll just have to give to Austin Matthews.
Thank you. What about Calder, Jack Adams? I don't really care about GM of the year. I care about Calder and Jack Adams.
Calder, okay. Talked about this before where initially I was going to say Cale Makar, but Harman Dial from The Athletic really convinced me. So it has to be, I think, Quinn Hughes.
Good man. And then Coach, Jack Adams, dude.
Coach. John Tortorella, because I love
Thank you.
Not against the play-in route,
but just
what he's been able to do this year with Gustav Nyquist on offense.
Oh my God! Okay, that's a bit of a weird reason. Thank you. That was a great one.
Jim Gregory. I think I said. Who did I say? Don Sweeney.
Yeah, you did because you got sick of giving Bruins all the awards.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
good list.
Shall I go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just calling it MVP is Mac because I love the man.
I know.
Here I actually gave to Dorian because I love what he's doing with the rebuild. That package for yeah, man. I'm serious. He's rebuilding. Yeah, he's doing a good job, and he just gets overshadowed by UG, but he's doing a good job.
Yeah,
Brandstrom for Stone, that was great.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my coach of the year was also Torts because my God, is there nothing on that team, and he just
only time I'll agree with you probably.
The nice guy who scores a lot goes to Nathan McKinnon as well because I love him, and again, I think I made this argument about the Selke is in this world, you can try and separate on and off the ice, but you cannot do it in this day and age with social media. So with that, also, I couldn't give it to O'Reilly. I have no place for drunk driving in my heart, like none at all.
Wait, for the Lady Bing or for the Selkie?
Okay.
Lady Bing, nice guy who scores a lot.
Okay.
So I gave it to Mac. Calder, I've been on Cale Makar's bandwagon all year. I got to go to a Colorado-Montreal game, and my God, I couldn't keep my eyes off the kid. The Vezina, Hellebuck, I love him. Norris, I also went with Victor Hedman. I think he's the best defenseman in the NHL, simply put. And Tampa, they have the weapons, but without him, we saw what happened when he was hurt against Columbus.
You're right. They have Ryan McDonough.
Not Victor Hedman.
And Zach Bogosian, okay? Let's give the guy
Bogo for Norris.
And Mikhail Sergachev.
Yes.
Guy can't, no.
Jason
him.
Garrison.
Like,
Sean
I like
Day.
McDonough.
Now they have Sean Day, too. Let's not.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget Sean. Don't ever sleep on Sean Day.
Yeah, he's only 22. He's got a life to go. But, seriously, Hedman, wicked player. I love Victor Hedman. Okay, so to finish off, as we're going back to how the show used to be.
Wow, I didn't even get to make my picks. Okay, I'm just gonna go.
Sorry,
home.
brother. I forgot.
No, I'm just gonna. I have a balcony. I'm on the 23rd floor here. I'll just jump off.
Please don't.
His Excellency, him who stands up like a stuffed turkey, all proud of that. Mike,
thank you for identifying.
Mike, it's a Gordon Ramsay thing. He was whenever for holidays and that, like there's a recipe of his I go off, and he stuffs this turkey. He's like, it's like it's standing at attention. It's so plump. What? But yeah, sorry about that, Mike. And that's the last time he'll come on because he's so sick of me. Who are your award finalists?
Ted Lindsay and Hartemi. Breadwinner. Norris Trophy, I got Roman Yossi. I understand why he will probably go to Carlson, but I'm going with Yossi. Selke, I got Patrice, just unbeatable. Especially if it's his 9th time being a finalist, you got to give him the 6th one. Vezina, obviously Moose. You can't bet out on Connor Hellebuck. Lady Bing, Austin, Masterton. No, not you. GM of the year, I'm going with Joe Sakic.
It's a good one.
I like that. I like him.
Deal. Why did I forget his name?
Matt Duchene.
Not Matt Duchene. I mean, the Matt Duchene deal is a good one.
Vlad Nemestikov.
Not the Nemestikov.
Kadri.
No. Not the Kadri deal. Yeah, you give up Barry, but yeah, you get a great second-line center. The Rantanen deal was really good.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Jack Adams, Torts, all the way.
So I'm saying,
no questions. Calder, Dominic Kubalik.
Get out.
I'm kidding.
Wow, it's such a straight face.
Of course the Panarin fan wants the guy who's 24 to win it.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Alex's face was perfect there. He was like he just shook his head. He was like, what?
Oh God. I didn't even think Dominic Kubalik should have been a finalist.
Who do you have over him?
Mackenzie Blackwood.
I was gonna put John Marino.
No. No.
No, but I'm riding the Quinn Hughes wave.
Yeah.
And those are my finalists. Sick.
All right. Don't you just love award shows? The 2-on-1 award show of excellence, prestige, and accomplishment. We love our long titles here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Leafs and Habs. I know in a second, Alex, you wanted to ask Mike about the facility shenanigans with the Leafs and all the cheapness. I'm sure that'll be fun.
When I saw the doc yesterday, Alex, I texted Adam immediately. I'm like, oh, Alex wants me to rant and get angry. Okay. He loves bringing out the best emotions in me.
It's fun. And then we'll also preview the exhibition game between Montreal and Toronto. That's a game we'll all be keeping our eyes out for.
Except Daniel. He'll be watching the Anaheim Ducks scrimmage.
He'll rewatch the 07. But yeah, so Alex, why don't you have a little chat with Mike about
Mike,
how you think that the rest of the teams in the league are extremely cheap?
I have 2 questions for you. What do you think of these shenanigans, and which loser owners do you think called Gary and said, "Oh, they can't do this. They can't do this.
They can't use their own facilities.
We can't hire coaches, so they can hire coaches."
So I think it's just a whole lot of BS. Like, seriously, you don't want the Leafs to use their own practice facilities in the summer because they can, and because other teams can. So I have my buddy Fedor, back when he was drafted by the Leafs. Obviously didn't work out with him. He's going to be part of the Wild someday, and I'm voting for him. But, like, dude, if you have a way to develop players, why the hell are you not allowed to use it? It's different if you're like Chayka, you're interviewing people before they're supposed to be drafted. But if you have them drafted, if you have prospects, you have players, why the hell aren't they allowed to be working out at MasterCard or skating or having access to those facilities just because the shareholders provide the money that they can do it?
Because it's unfair.
It's different. It's different where Uncle Eugene is too. That's to answer your second question. I think he's up there, Uncle Eugene. Dumbass. I hate
Eugene and the Pagula sitting there. Okay,
definitely.
How do we do this?
Like, all right, how do hold my beer? Hold my beer. I'm gonna do this. Like, come on, seriously? Just because you guys suck? You guys think if you guys had access to our facilities in the summer, you wouldn't suck? You wouldn't be garbage? Like, no, man. Like, I mean, I think it just comes with the territory. I mean, not even just that. Like, if you are with a team, you're always going to have some form of benefits because of that team somehow. Right. If you're a New York Ranger, you're going to get free Knicks tickets. You're going to get free Broadway tickets. It's just a thing. They talk about it all over the place. If you're with the Leafs, you're going to get free Raptors tickets. You're going to get all this stuff. You're going to have access to all these cool things. Yes, it's different where you're playing for the Florida Panthers.
Yonder had a key. He had a key to the gym. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, right? Like, it's just different, man. Like, why are you going to shit on a team and ruin their like, not ruin their development, but, like, ruin what they're trying to do? It's not an unfair advantage. It's just what they have because they can work with it.
It's
like,
such a dangerous path. It's a
very dangerous path. Yeah, you're right.
Path they're going down because they're trying. My understanding, like just reading the facts, they're trying to create a situation where each team has no differences except the players that they ice.
I hate this NHL dictatorship.
It's a really dangerous path, and I don't think it might help the short term in bringing in fans and saying, hey, look, all our teams are the same. But in the long run, people are going to get bored of that. The argument I made last time is, what hockey teams do you remember? I remember the Oilers, the Gretzky Oilers, the Islanders in the 80s, the Montreal Canadiens that dominated the 60s. And 20 years from now, we're going to remember the Penguins. Oh, sorry, the 70s. We're going to remember the Penguins, the Blackhawks, and the Kings, who won multiple cups in a 10-year span.
Mm.
That's who we're going to remember. In basketball, I don't like using this reference, but I'm going to use it anyways. In 30 years, maybe in Canada it'll be a little bit different. No one is going to remember if the Raptors never win another title. No one is in the United States of America is ever going to remember the time the Raptors won one title. They're going to remember when Golden State and Cleveland met each other.
Dominated.
Yeah.
2010s. Dominated the 2010s.
Yeah, that's what they're going to remember. So, yeah, too much parity is really bad, and too little parity is also really bad, because then people are just going to get sick and tired of seeing.
But it's not too little parity which
Right.
is why I understand why they're complaining. Like, seriously, come on. Just because they can work out in the summer. Seriously? That's your big deal?
It also has to do with like the team can't pay for like skill coaches. And
Yeah.
that.
So like Gary Roberts. So Gary
yeah.
Roberts.
Then what the hell is the point of having shareholders that pump so much money into this? Why the hell are the Leafs having to pay for Arizona to not go bankrupt? Because everyone knows that happened.
Right.
Why did the Leafs have to pay for that and then still not be able to use their own amenities?
Because it's not fair.
The only reason they're making money then, they're making that exorbitant amount of money and having that kind of background payroll in case they need any other things aside from the rink, staff, players, and everything outside, like all the extra money, and they have a lot of that obviously. Yeah. All that extra money, it should go to the rest of the league should anyone need a bailout, is what I'm hearing. As opposed to we have facilities, we have amenities. Let's not use them. Let's just help the rest of the league whenever they need to. Whenever this failed experiment there doesn't work. Like
there's 5 teams who bankroll the league. There's the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, the New York Rangers, the Boston Bruins, and the Los Angeles Kings.
Chicago
when they're good.
Yeah.
I think now they're still. But.
And the Florida Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jesse Blake of the
Anaheim Ducks.
So Jesse Blake on SCP made a really good point. I think it was Jesse. That this is like paying for the skill coaches and that and all that, under that umbrella. It's investing into your own players, which if you're helping with their development, does that not help, older teams? It helps you, idiot. You're handcuffing your own franchise and what you're able to do with prospects as well. That's the worst part of this for me, is that this is
Yo. 2 seconds.
Breaking news.
Yeah, actually. Elliot Friedman.
Oh, boy.
We were just talking about this.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Chayka?
Steve Sullivan will be GM of Arizona.
Wow, that's
likely
not
on an
guy.
interim basis, but I could see the Coyotes giving him a long look. So, yes, Chayka's on his way out.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Steve Sullivan, oh, God, where has he been? The name sounds familiar, but it's not coming to me.
Former Nashville Predator.
Has he ever been a GM before, or is this just...
I'm reading that.
LeBron said that, hearing via leak source, John Chayka terminated his contract with the Yotes just over 48 hours ago. He had 3 years on it.
No, he's been a coach. Like 2013, he was dealt, and then he retired. September 8th, 2014, he was hired as a development coach. For the
Coyotes. So this is Kent Summers for the Arizona Republic. Latest on GM John Chayka's status with Coyotes per NHL source. John Chayka terminated his contract 48 hours ago. I have no idea what the team is doing at this point. God damn it, Arizona.
The best part about this is news breaking during the show.
Yeah.
If you record long enough, you're bound to have news eventually.
Yeah. Sullivan he's the assistant GM of the Coyotes.
Nice.
So, see, the name that I thought would have been brought up, and maybe they will look at him, is Mike Futa.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that was the guy.
Yeah.
That was a guy I thought Buffalo would look at, but instead they went for the ass kisser and
Mike Gillis as well. Is always a name.
I don't know if Steve Sullivan's going to be permanent, but we'll see.
Damn, that's Fringe Bomb. I love it. Bob would have had it first if he wasn't going to semi-retirement. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess we'll go, guys. Main event, a ring-a-ding-ding, or do you guys need to get anything off your chest? I don't want a repeat of every other time Mike is on the show, and it takes me 10 minutes to get into the main event of the show. So if you need to get something out, I'm going to put a 1-minute timer on.
No, don't put the timer. It's okay.
I'm good. We covered it. We hate the rest of the league. This is a dictatorship. My favorite account on Twitter is NHL Trump.
I didn't even know that.
Daniel, I know you're a very talkative
I'm going to send you NHL Trump. He's hilarious.
Please.
So, Daniel, you're a very talkative person. Do you have anything else to say before we get going to the Leafs and Habs here?
I'm just thinking of John Chayka right now. Hope he's okay.
Guys.
He's
Wish him the best.
Someone's going to get
Yeah.
another shot.
He's just thinking in his mind that him Hampus Lindholm should be up there for the Norris.
I know. It was like burning inside of me.
No,
I just had to bring it
Let's
up,
be
you know.
honest. He's a slave in the Pesci kind of guy. He's part of that community.
Sam
Josh
Steele.
Manson guy, yeah.
I'd have to
Yeah.
wonder where Chayka's going to go next.
Friedman said on 31 Dots, I think, apparently he has enemies around. Like, I'm sure he didn't do any favors this. I know, right? Because he's a computer boy to people.
Because he's not part of the 200, 500-year-old hockey man.
The old boys
It's
club.
not the old boys club, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a long shot, but New Jersey seemed to have started taking a or maybe even like Carolina, more of a committee type thing, because apparently it was another GM job that he was looking at. It wasn't a lateral move for Friedman. So
Right. I thought
Don't
maybe
forget
Seattle.
Buffalo.
No, yeah, that's why would he do that? Why would he do that to himself?
He's going to be a statistician for the Sabres, I think.
Why would he ever do that to himself?
Their
Maybe he's
their
going-
business development. Vice president of business development is now their GM.
He's
Let's
young.
go.
He needs that challenge, that Sabres challenge, I think.
he's,
Yeah,
maybe
He's
he's
already
no
had
one.
a challenge. He's been the GM of the Arizona Coyotes, the Buffalo Sabres of the West.
Do we want to then just? Well, I guess we already kind of did it. Do we want to do a final word then? A grade on John Chayka's job. How did he do as the GM of the Coyotes?
B-minus.
Guys. Alex, what about you?
I like that B minus. I'll take that too.
And how about you, Dan?
C+.
C plot? This guy. Don't
What
like
about
the
you?
development,
You do
do you?
Adam?
Hello?
Adam?
Hello? You
Yes,
didn't
yeah.
you don't like the development going on, do you?
I didn't really like the development, this draft picks too much. I mean, I still like, we always talk about Barrett Hayden. But,
And that's
to be honest, he did what he could. Good effort.
good effort. But at the end of the day, what's
Still
the
needs
saying?
work.
What have you done for me lately? And let's be honest, the Yotes haven't done anything with John Chayka at the helm.
Yeah.
But there are many problems that organization needs to sort out, and there's a story to keep an eye on, though. But finally, here we are, guys. On Mike's birthday, the 28th, the Montreal Canadiens and Toronto Maple Leafs will face off in their one and only exhibition game before starting the playoffs. I guess the first question is, guys, and we'll start with Mike here. What are you going to be looking for from the Leafs? Is there a specific player you're going to look to maybe try and shine through? Or what are your expectations for this game and from your team?
I want Austin to torch the Habs.
All right.
You're going to start a war. You're going to start a war, Mike.
I was waiting for, Nick Robertson, we've all been excited about, but you were just flat out like,
Buddy.
all right, let's go.
Ilya Mikheyev. I'm excited to see him back. I have been missing Ilya Mikheyev playing as the Zach Hyman to JT and Mitch. I want to see where they're going to put Robertson. Yeah, if they're putting him on the third line, that'd be interesting. It sucks because I liked Pierre Engvall, even though he did nothing for the last few games, last while. But I mean, you can see Robertson works his bag off, man. He wants to make this team, and I think they're giving him just the right opportunity, but he's seizing that opportunity. He's running with it. So I think to see him back, finally get Mo Bamba Riley a little bit better. I want to see him. I mean, you guys saw my tweet.
Which
You guys saw my tweet.
Lots of them.
Riley and CC.
God,
And I was just like,
damn it.
no.
God.
It was like it's the
Leave
Michael.
me alone.
It's the Michael Scott. It's the no, God, no, please.
Leave me
No,
alone.
no. That was my reaction, and then Alex just comes in here. He's like, "Oh, she's a great guy."
I'd have a beer with him as
I would-
long as it's in the press.
Oh man, I would grab a beer with him as long as he's not with Riley. Oh please. But yeah, like to see that, to see, honestly, like who else are gonna try and give a shot for? Like I don't know if they're gonna keep. Like I guess they're gonna keep it the way it is. Like Engvall will be subbed out to throw in Robertson.
I saw
Mike, go ahead.
Engvall was on the fourth line yesterday, which I guess was their last practice before the bubble. Engvall was alongside Clifford and Spezza.
So they subbed out the goat for that. That's pretty
thank
interesting.
because that guy wasn't helpful either. So
Yeah, no. Even though he scored the first goal of the year for the Leafs, he didn't do much. But
his first and final goal.
Yeah, I think I would have. I think that's a good fourth line. I think obviously the fourth line is where you're going to throw your grinders, and that's why I wouldn't want to throw out Robertson there. Like, yeah, the guy plays with heart, but like if he's playing on the fourth line, he's going to play with against some bigger bodies, and that's just not his game. To see Engvall though, Engvall has the size for it. Engvall has the size and speed. I think he'll do better in that role, alongside especially Kyle Clifford, the goalie killer, and Jason, the veteran Spezza.
Kyle Clifford's the reason we had David Ayres in that. Let's not call him the goalie killer, okay? He practically ruined 2 weeks at Ryerson.
What?
2 weeks?
Ruined. It ruined Gary's class.
It ruined Gary's documentary class.
Well, it was a bad class to begin with. I love you, Gary. Sorry, but Daniel, what's gonna catch your eye? What are you looking for?
For me, I think it's looking at both teams, the fluidity of the lines, how they've kind of been able to match up on the practices. I think we already talked it before. Where like I want to see Mikheyev, I want to see Robertson, I want to see Engvall, see where they kind of like fit in on that depth, how they're gonna roll out those lines. And one aspect I kind of see is like I'll do this for you, Adam. The Canadiens' perspective on it, like what we talked about before, where what do they really have? What they're gonna kind of bring to it? How the lines are gonna, how are the lines gonna be? How is Jonathan Drouin now? He's back.
Shea Weber's gonna try and murder Freddie, just like he murdered McNiven.
I saw the
way to go, Captain! What a good captain.
Mike, this is going to be a war.
I know.
It's going to be
trying to say nice things, Philip Deneau, Selke.
No, I'm in it to win it. This is a war of attrition here. There's going to be bloodshed.
It's a one game.
I wanted to get the analysis out the way and then the trash talk. But if we're just going to do that, then listen. Carey Price is here, guys. He's hungry. And yeah, Shea Weber, when he's not even trying, he's going to be going for Freddie. Well, let's see if Freddie can even stop a puck, because the second half of that season didn't look very good, lads. I mean, yeah, great. Everyone get excited about your 18, 19-year-old rookie before he even plays a game, sure. Yeah, Cody Ceci.
I don't know if you want to be talking about prospects who haven't played an NHL game before. You nonstop talked about Cole Caulfield every episode.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just pointing this out.
I'm
just pointing this out. I'm just pointing this out.
Oh, he's a top 6 forward already. Oh,
I never made this claim. You're talking about the Leafs Twitter that thinks William Nylander should be traded.
Oh my God!
Yeah. I love Nick Robertson, but if he wasn't on the roster, I wouldn't have minded.
Oh, the hype around him has been real, ladies and gentlemen. But seriously, fluidity of lines. Mikheyev, this is a player that, if anything, I think he could be a real dark horse to have what?
Do I get to give my analysis?
Yeah, I was about to throw it over to you if you would let me finish, Alex.
No.
So what I was about to say was, this is a guy I think could be a real dark horse and have a really good run here. And I was going to say, Alex, how do you feel about that or something like that? But you just want to steamroll
Look what you did,
over
Mike.
me.
Look what you did, Mike. Let's remember this was you. Let's remember this was all Mike's doing. This was all Mike's doing. Okay?
You gonna make a joke about typewriters and William Nylander again? Go ahead.
Mike, look what you did. Look what you did. I told you were starting.
Tell me about how the Leafs don't deserve to stay at hotel and all this crap.
I never said that. Now you're just putting words in my mouth.
Leafs Twitter. I was trying to be calm and be all cool, collective. I watched a damn Sportsnet show last night. Do you know what they talked about for Montreal series? No. You know what they talked about for Montreal series? They talked about trading Nick Cousins and how that ruined Montreal's chances. Not a word about Price. Not a word about Weber. We lost 20 minutes of the show for the Leafs.
Okay, Adam, what do you think about the Montreal Canadiens? I can't do this.
No. Go ahead. You do your Leaf stuff here, because I know I'm going to be the only one talking about the Habs. So I'm not.
I clearly talked about the Habs.
Okay.
I remember when I was telling you yesterday that the only good back checker on the Canadiens was Philip Deneau, and then you're like, man, Lehkonen, Evans, Dale Weiss.
Yep, because they are. Man, you say this about Dale Weiss. The guy as a, like, man, go
He
back
sucks.
to 2014. No, he doesn't. He has heart. He is the Dutch Gretzky for a reason, guys.
What?
Yeah.
No, oh my God.
There's a nickname for it.
Please don't get me involved.
He's not actually Dutch, but it was during the
Please don't
lockout.
get
He's
me
like, no,
involved.
but you say that. Like,
Ask Alex. It became forever.
Don't get me involved, please.
No, because me and Mike were joking about, I'm like, I put as much, it was when I was like, yeah, you come on the show, whatever. I said, I put as much effort into that as Nylander does back checking. And he's like, hey, he's worked on it. So.
He has.
He has. He's worked on it. He tries a little now. He goes more than one stride back into the zone now. I'm so happy for him.
I remember when I remember there was a little scuffle behind the net between Matthews and Weber got Austin's helmet off, and then Austin just starts shoving him in the face and starts just bitching Weber, and I'm like, that's a good sign.
Man, I remember one time JT Miller in the playoffs tried to fight Weber, and my God, it was bad. Like, I would not mess with Shane Webb. He is just – okay, but let's turn it back here.
Your analysis. Let's hear what are you excited about for the Habs now that we got the hostility out of the way.
No, I want to let – I will, but first, Alex, seriously.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yes.
Like, Mikheyev is that – like, I think it's fair that he's one of the players to really keep an eye on, eh?
I think there's a couple players to keep an eye on. One is absolutely Ilya Mikheyev. Great guy. Like I think whether he's on the Matthews or the Tavares line, because I think, I know they've looked at playing Hyman with Nylander and Matthews, and they might end up going with that. Like, that was the year one. That was all their rookie years, and they played. I thought that was one of Matthews' best years, maybe besides this year. Either way, that guy's going to look phenomenal, or hopefully. Nick Robertson's another guy just to look out for. I don't know necessarily how much he's going to play. I think I said last time I don't expect him to play against Columbus, but you never know at this point. Dennis Malkin might I really don't think
he's going to play at all, Dennis Malkin.
No, he's not going to. He's just there for injury reasons.
Just in case.
I forget he's a Leaf. That's how forgettable Malkin is.
If someone gets injured, Nick Robertson is 100% playing. But I don't know if – like, I'm just looking like who they have that can slot in. Like, if you're not putting Robertson in, it's either Patan or Malkin, because Jansson's still injured. Right, so you got to slot someone in there for him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think the biggest thing I want to see the most of is what the hell they're going to do with that defense. Because, Riley, and I know they've been trying Riley and Barry. Muzzin and Hall is a pairing, so that's great. You got one.
They're actually not bad defensively.
So I'm perfectly fine. Like, I'm very happy with that. They're kind of like that shutdown pairing. I think last year it was Muzzin and Zaitsev. God. And now you're kind of stuck with, okay, you got Dermott, Ceci, and Rasmus Sandin, and those are the guys who are going to kind of fill out the rest of the roster. I really think Rasmus Sandin should play.
Well, he's not, because if they're paying Ceci $4.5 million, they're still going to play him. They're not going to sit him. I know,
Why
man.
not?
But
Why
the
can't
thing
you
is,
sit him?
They're not going to sit him. They haven't done it all year. He's played. If he wasn't injured, which sucks. I know they can. They should.
Yeah. No,
I would sit him for Sandin. I would sit him for Sandin.
See, I don't think we've seen – the issue is I don't think we've seen a full Leafs defense core, because what happened was they sent Sandin down, and I think that was perfectly fine at the beginning of the year. He played those 9 games, and then he kind of looked roughed up. And I'm like, okay, man, go play 35 minutes with Liljegren and the Marlies, and then we'll see what he's like. And when he came back up, he was I thought he was a much better player, and I think he should definitely get the shout over Ceci. And then it comes to be like, okay, who's playing on the right side, Dermott or Sandin? And I really think they should try Dermott on the right side because next year you're going to have to try Dermott with Riley. And Riley's not playing on the right side.
No.
Or you trade someone. You don't have you have the depth on the left side, but you don't have the depth on the right side.
That's where Kapanen and Johnson are going to be the offseason, I believe.
Traded. You think both of them?
No, I think one of them. I think Johnson.
But I think if Dermott, I have a feeling Dermott might be part of that deal because I think Sandin is NHL ready, especially by the beginning of next year. And then the question is Liljegren ready?
No.
So
you don't think by next year Liljegren's going to be ready?
I think
man. He didn't look good this year.
They'll give him a shot.
I think they'll give him another shot, but like he still has some serious developing to do. I think.
Right.
Like you know what? He didn't look he did struggle. I think this year in the NHL, and obviously right now he's not part of the roster. You have Mac Hollowell instead.
No, he is.
Oh, he is.
The final roster, he's part of it.
Oh, okay.
It was an injury, and
he's not going to play. But
COVID, no.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think he still needs some seasoning. I hate to say it, but
yeah. Just quickly before I guess two more things. There's nothing wrong with Anderson. I don't know what mumbo jumbo hottestleaftakes.com bloggers are writing about this.
I hate that thing anyways.
It's training camp.
Imagine not making saves in training camp and thinking that's going to translate.
Leave him alone. Leave the guy alone. He deals with enough garbage. You see who's playing in front of him on defense? Cody Ceci, okay? Marin Marincin, leave the guy alone. One guy who was left off the list, Yegor Korshkov.
Went back to he signed the KHL earlier.
He signed in the KHL for Locomotive. And I'd imagine that's because no one has any idea what's going on with the AHL.
My buddy Fedor, he was telling me that honestly there's a big chance that they don't even have the A next year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's supposed to play for Iowa next year. He's like, dude, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like we talked about the CHL and we talked about the CFL. The AHL is in the exact same position. There is how heavy. It's all gate money.
Yeah,
like the Marlies that are on TV once in a blue moon. I've never seen really an AHL game before on TV.
I've seen them on, but like very little.
I remember
if it's not the Marlies, I don't see anybody else.
Right.
Yeah,
back in the day, I remember the score always showed the Toronto Roadrunners.
Wow.
The Roadrunners?
Yeah, that was the affiliate for the Oilers because that was when it was the St. John's Maple Leafs.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Edmonton had a team in Toronto.
You guys were talking. I wanted to try and rewind to Travis Dermott.
Yeah.
Because is there any sort of way that he plays well enough that he isn't ending up in a deal with Janssen and that?
Yes.
For cap relief. And what does he have to do?
Play on the right side.
Keep a red.
Play on the right side and not give it away. And honestly, dude, but another thing that you got to account with when it comes to Dermott is that he's one of the few players that plays with a spark.
Yeah.
He's willing to stick up for himself. He's willing to stick up for teammates. Like he's got more heart than a lot of the other players on the team. Whereas if someone gets nailed, Dermott's going to jump in there. Kyle Clifford's going to jump in there. But you're like on the rest of the D4, you're not going to see Sandman. You're not going to see CC. You're not going to see Riley. Like those guys are maybe Riley, but you're not going to see like those guys jump in there when you need to.
You say Muzzin?
Well, Muzzin as well. Sorry, I completely forgot, especially when Muzzin murdered Torrey Krug. But, like, the rest, like, you're not going to see – like, Dermott, he's going to finish his checks.
Right.
He's going to – and that's what you need in the playoffs, especially a team that just got Josh Anderson back.
Oh, is Josh Anderson playing?
He's officially back, man.
Oh.
Shoot. That's going to be loads of fun.
So, I think he can play well. I don't think the organization has done anything less than believe in him the entire time he's been here. From when we drafted him to the 2 years it took him to get here, I think the organization has believed in him from day one, and I don't think they're ready to give up on him. But if there is a deal there and it happens to work out because it's a sweetener. You can get a good defenseman while pairing him with Janssen, offset the salary, and make it work. Then I think they're going to go with that, because then you can fill in there with Sandin. Cece's going to be gone, so you're going to have to rely on a guy like Liljegren or whoever you end up trading for to come. But yeah, I don't think no one's expendable on the Leafs other than the $40 million players and Mo Bamba Riley
And Freddie.
It's true. And Freddie.
and Freddie. Freddie, because there's no one else.
Yeah, Campbell, he's decent.
Not Freddie.
He's not Freddie, and he's also like, oh man, at least he's better than.
Don't bring him up.
Don't say his name.
Then we'll look at the other side of this little exhibition here. We'll look at.
I'm intrigued to hear this actually. I'm intrigued to hear about your Habs breakdown.
Yeah, well, I think it's weird that the biggest name I think is really to keep an eye on is Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Oh my God, you'd marry that guy if you could.
Because no, in all seriousness, he's a tall guy, right? And the big issues for him were his skating. Like, he was falling down. It was kind of like almost like he was a raptor skating on his hinds. Yeah. It was really weird.
That is such an interesting analogy.
I know.
I've never heard that one.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I try. Once in a while, if you're bound to hit a strike eventually. But the reason it's interesting to keep an eye on him is a lot was made, and I was one of these people, that he put on a lot of weight coming into this season, but now he's actually filled out. Like, he's not this. I think I said this last episode. He's not the sweet baby eagle people called him. He's not that anymore.
How the hell are you coming up with these? Raptor on his hind legs, sweet baby eagle.
Okay, so Raptor on his hind legs I did come up with. Sweet baby eagle is a nickname from a podcast called Happy Hour. They call him a sweet baby eagle because he's an adorable, sweet little boy. And he's worked on his shot. Like, there was a time when they worked on him on the power play, and the guy has a one-timer. So he's worked on that.
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
And everyone forgets, like, his season. Like, I did an analysis on when he got sent down on my YouTube channel. The guy was just riddled with injuries. So now he's really filled out as a person. He's worked on his
moves. He got murdered by Zadorov.
Yeah, I was at that game, and boy, it was tough.
No way.
Yeah, I was at it, and I was so excited. I was wearing a Kotkaniemi jersey that night, and I was like, oh no.
Was that in Montreal?
It was in Montreal, yes.
You must have been like, no.
I think I curled up into my seat and didn't say anything for the rest of the time. It was bad. I was at the game when Chara gave Danault a concussion from a shot.
I do remember you mentioned that.
Yeah, that was scary. I had a bunch of Boston fans next to me, and I was like, I gave them the speed of the shot in kilometers, and they were like, "What's that?" I'm like, getting tough. But anyway, like, the thing with Jesperi is they're playing him with Druin, and the way it seems to be lining up with Suzuki playing with Lehkonen and the Danault line being the Danault line is that they're kind of giving the Druin Jesperi line, if that is what they go with, the chance to be an offensive punch. And also, Jesperi is finally at the point where he's fed up with Montreal media. So he's finally turned into a real Hab. So I really think he's a guy to keep an eye on.
What about Domi?
Now, see, this is what's weird with Domi is he's a little behind. Like, he's been playing on the fourth line because, remember, he got late to camp.
Right.
It seems to be that if he's getting into a spot, it might have to be at wing. Like, it might change where we're going. But right now, here's what's interesting. Suzuki, if he performs in what time they have against the Penguins, if he performs how he did at, this highest points of the season, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi comes out and really shows that he has a great performance and turns into the player we're all hoping he is, and you're not trading Phil Danault, then all of a sudden Max Domi is your odd man out.
And you can get an actual left-handed defenseman.
And then, there's the look of the trade. But that's what I'm really looking for is Jesperi Kotkaniemi. And, man, can Jeff Petrie turn down the turnovers? Because Mike sent me a thing that he had the most turnovers this year. I was pretty upset about that. But
All defensemen in the NHL.
Really?
Yeah. more than Carlson,
More than Cody Ceci?
Wow.
more than Brent Burns,
More than
Huh.
Nikita Zaitsev?
Thank God he puts up.
Good
points.
Lord.
Oh, you know what? I actually want to find it for you and give you the top 5 while we're here
Okay.
because I found it very intriguing. I sent it to Adam. I was like, dude, he's got to get it together. So
Also, you talk about Dermott having to play the right side.
Yeah.
Montreal's third right-handed slot, because obviously you have Weber Sherratt, which at
Yeah.
first you're like, what? But Sherratt's really good as that. It's weird. You have Petrie will probably play with Mete. And then there's this weird thing of what the third pairing will be. To me,
Lock.
you do Brett Kulak. Do you have it up, Mike?
Yeah, I got it here.
All right, do you want to list that quickly?
All right, I'll list it down quickly from the top 20. I'll just make it quick because it's funny. Number 20, Issa Lindell. Number 19, Noah Hannafin. 18, Trouba. 17, Big Ronnie.
Ron Hainsey?
Yeah, 16, Mo Bamba Riley. 15, Eric Carlson. 14,
That low.
PK.
That low.
13, Duncan Keith. 12, TJ Brody. 11, Muzzy. 10, Klingberg. Top 10 now. Number 9, Chris Letang.
Makes
Number
sense.
10 or number 8, Ivan Provorov. Number 7, John Carlson. Number 6, Drew Doughty.
Yeah.
Number 5, Mike Matheson. Number 4, Aaron Ekblad. Number 3, Keith Yandel. Jesus Christ, that's 3 Panthers in a row.
God. Holy.
And then there's steady. It's like Matheson,
Yes.
281.
Yeah.
Aaron Ekblad, 295.
Yeah.
Yandel, 305 for giveaways.
Steady
Number
garbage.
Number two is not a surprise. Brent Burns, and then obviously number 1 is Jeff Petrie with 319 giveaways.
Okay, so thank God Petrie, as I said, thank God he puts up points. Burns I get, Ekblad and Yandel I get. Matheson?
Well, I just he must be their top. He must be playing with
He's been playing
Ekblad.
at top minutes.
He
yeah.
must be playing with Ekblad because they have no other left-handed defenseman.
Right.
Remember, they were supposed to get a left-handed defenseman for Vincent Trocheck. Instead, they got
And what
pennies.
happened?
Instead, they just got
Right.
pennies.
Bunch of quantity over quality
Yeah.
pieces there.
Right. All right. I'd like to go back to Montreal for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
The story is Montreal's bottom pair, and to me, you go Brett Kulak, and beside my love for him, and the guy that he had some rough games as a rookie, but you talk about finishing. This guy had a wicked hit on Lucic, and he really is a throwback defenseman. I don't know how you don't get Cale Fleury into the lineup. The fact that there's talk that Christian Fallon can get in before him is ridiculous. And this player will not play, but also who's going to back up Carey Price? And
Heath
why
Kincaid.
Charlie Lindgren.
Kincaid wasn't invited to
Nice.
Kincaid wasn't invited to camp.
Good.
It was McNiven, Lindgren, and Primo. And by the
Lindgren.
way, I'm full Primo.
Yeah, why not?
Play him or
Why not?
McNiven, because McNiven just hasn't been able to play any. Alex, I sent you McNiven's hockey DB for this year. It's
Yeah.
just been all over the AHL and ECHL because the Habs don't have an ECHL team to send him to. So he's just been. But when he plays, he's great.
Yeah, why
But it
not?
doesn't matter because he won't play. And obviously against the Leafs, you hope Price puts in a good performance. But those are the big things for me.
Who were the other options for lefty? Like, I know other than Kulak for that third pairing.
Noah, well, he's right-handed, but you'd like to try and get him in, is Noah Juleson, who's a really good story. And then
Yeah.
another lefty is Xavier Ouellette, who confirmed that he had COVID. Same with Kulak.
When it comes
He's like
to
another forward. So.
when it comes to Juleson, do you think, like, because I know the issues he's had in the past has had to do with concussions, right?
Headaches, yeah, concussions, headaches, yeah. Same with like Stephen Jones.
Do you think they're going to, like, yes, if they have to, they have to, but risk it with him this
Well,
playoff?
He did get some Laval games in, so like the health was turning around. I think it's unlikely that he does play because in front of him in their charts, you can clearly see he's Fallen and Fleury are both ahead of him to play on the right. I would love to see him get the chance, but then I think the concern with Montreal is putting him, and because of the situation the Habs are in, you have to balance getting your young guys in and putting a lineup together that's going to, you go to Price and Weber and say, we're trying to win here, because you kind of have to do that. Right. Juleson has missed so much key development time, but what people forget is he was playing NHL. He was next to Carl Alsner at one point. And then it just went all downhill for him. So it doesn't look likely he'll play, but I hope he does.
Last thing from me. So you got rid of, you traded Nick Cousins and why isn't the name coming to me?
Scandella, Cousins, Kovalchuk,
I was more worried about the forwards, the bottom six. Yeah, Kovalchuk, and what was the other guy?
Thompson, Cousins, Kovalchuk.
So I guess we can't, what's the rest of the team? How do they fill out that bottom six? Because we know how that top six looks, but how you fill out that bottom six?
Well, the one thing that sucks is Montreal have, at the top of my head, it's 4 players who have played more than 40 playoff games. You can probably name 2 of them right now. Carey Price, Shea Weber.
Right.
One of them is escaping me, and one of them is Dale Weiss.
Jeff Petrie?
No, Jeff Petrie's only played 16. You forget he was an Oiler before he was a Hab.
Okay.
I want to say Thomas Tatar, but I don't think that's right.
He has not either.
No, not Jonathan Drouin.
Not Gallagher isn't up there. I think he's close though, but it's not a lot. So then, that's why Weiss might have a leg up, is because he's played in them, and I'll say it again. 2014, the guy drove Milan Lucic, who was actually good back then, to the edge of it. It's his type of game. Those greasy goals getting in front, right? So he'll get in there. Jordan Wheel has a spot in the bottom 6 because he's right-handed, and Montreal don't have a lot of that. That's the only reason he's on the power play, is because Claude Julien wants a right-handed force there. Jake Evans. You know I love him. Jake Evans. And then another option they've been looking at, he's an AHLer, but it's been Laurent Dauphin, who isn't anything to talk about. But if it's a 4th line, it's going to be Wheel. It might have to be Max Domi, or you put Byron or Wheel down. Sorry, Byron or Lehkonen down, depending on how you end up shaping that, Kotkaniemi Drouin line. We don't know quite yet, but there are guys there.
Yeah.
But the argument is, are they better than Thompson?
Right. There's one name that you haven't brought up at all, and I don't know if I'm just assuming he's in the lineup or you don't have him in the lineup, and it's Ryan Poehling.
He has not been part of the full lineup the entire time.
Wow.
He has very much fallen from grace.
They need him for those Leafs games, though. Yeah, they need him for those Leafs games.
He might get in. I mean, it's just with Jesperi Kotkaniemi, when he got sent down, didn't have a lot of goals, but he was dominating and he was point per game when they sent him to the Rocket. When Ryan Poehling was sent down, you'd expect he would dominate.
He sucked.
He was not good.
I remember reading that. He sucked.
Yeah, if you can't perform there, and that you only had that one. See, that game against Toronto was the worst thing for his career. I was at the game, so I loved it. But he doesn't really have a spot. He's not part of the future either. I think at this point.
Wow, that's a sharp turn. That's a really sharp turn, because and I've agreed with you at the beginning of the season too, in that when we were talking, this guy was fine. He's not going to be a top 6 player, but I think the argument was made, and we both agreed on it, that he can be a middle 6 guy. Someone and I'd argue someone like Kapanen, in that I don't know if Kapanen's really a top 6 player, but if you put him there, he can succeed.
Okay, so Adam, what is the bigger fall from grace? Ryan Poehling or Michael McCarron?
Oh, that's a McCarron just never got started to begin with. He just never got it going. Poehling, again, that hat-trick game, and then the word that he was a central part of a deal to try and bring in Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Just the high hopes that they had for Poehling I think it's much worse. McCarron, there was just nothing there. If you want to say like Nikita Sherbak, I might say Sherbak, or Jared Tenardi, or more Jacob De La Rose, and all these first-round picks.
God.
Anything else you guys like to know about the Habs?
I don't think so.
Daniel, anything else?
I'm still in the Philip Deneau Selke
I love him
consideration
so much.
conversation.
I love him. Mike, anything you'd like to ask?
Not really. I'm good.
All right, lads. Well, again, Mike, thank you for coming on, as always. It's always a good time. Mike pointed out to us that we're almost at 100 episodes.
Yeah. I don't know when that's going to be, but we're going to get there.
It's coming up. Mike did say that you'd come on for that episode. We'll do something special for it.
We have to do something special for the 10-minute presentation of who gets the first overall pick.
Oh, we are live
true.
streaming. We are live. Wait, what?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to be on your boat for that. I don't have a TV here, so I'm gonna have to just like, I don't have cable here, so I'm gonna have to probably like stream it.
So now who doesn't have a TV?
Okay, well, unlike you, I can find streams.
Oh, God.
Yeah, fair
Instead
enough.
of just sitting here waiting for you. I went back actually a couple days ago and I was watching us react to that. Oh my god.
I've rewatched it so many times. That was so fun.
The
The best part was Mike saying, "It's a play-in team."
Like, it's a play team. And then Alex is like, no.
Man,
I knew they would do it. It's rigged. The conspiracy theory. It's rigged.
We're still good to live stream that, eh? Like, even if it's
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Then look forward to that's August 10th.
Yes, sir.
Sweet. And yeah. Play-in starting soon. We don't exactly know what the episode layout's looking like because we're still waiting to see what Daniel's up to. But yeah, thank you again, Mike, for coming on. I hope Ottawa's going well.
Thank you.
I guess to end it here, thank you to Voice Ed, as always, for being a great platform for the show. If you want to support the show in any sort of way, there's lots of ways that you can do so. Check out the YouTube channel for a visual experience. It's so fun. Check out the show's Instagram and Facebook to get the hockey discussion going. Check out all 4 of our social medias. They're in the link description below. I'm about to sneeze, but I'm going to hold it off. Go check out my YouTube channel as well for all your Habs needs. Go watch other episodes. If you're on Spotify or something, subscribe, follow on iTunes, leave a 5-star review that helps grow the show, and leave a review. Tell us what you're most excited for. What series are you looking forward to the most? Is it New York, Carolina? Because Dougie Hamilton may be out for a bit longer. So
Panthers and Islanders.
Islanders. Who doesn't want to talk about Cal Clutterbuck?
Arizona, Nashville.
Craig Smith.
Oh I forgot about that. Damn. I don't want to get started with that.
That's it.
Okay.